Salam sejahtera. My name is Jabilles, and today I will present our study regarding student perception towards coral reef damages in Tunku Abdul Rahman Park. Together with me is another author, which is Madam Melin Jopin and Madam Rini Muhammad. For the presentation outline, first the introduction, and then second the problem statement, continue with the literature review, and then I will talk about the research objective, research methodology, and then research finding, and then the last one is the conclusion. The introduction. The growth of the tourism industry has led to the increase of demand for tourism development and activities. Even though the arrival of tourists can contribute to the nation's socio-economy, but in the same time, it also can bring the negative effects such as the pollution, the widespread sales of liquor, development of irregular business premises, traffic congestion, and also the lack of parking and sanitation. In Sabah especially, the marine tourism is the most highlighted activity amongst all. Tourist attractions such as the Tunku Abdul Rahman Park is one of the most frequent places visited by the tourists in Kota Kinabalu. Thus, this study was conducted to identify the student perception towards coral reef damage in Tunku Abdul Rahman Park, Marine Park in Sabah. The water activities offered on this island, such as sea walking, jet skiing, scuba diving, and snorkelling, are the most likely threatening the coral reef and the surrounding. This island heavily affected by the runoff and debris from the city and local river, and frequently damaged by the ghost gill net and the illicit fishing. Due to the increase of tourist demand, it led to the mass tourism activity that has threatened the beauty of the coral reef. Without the proper management and the guideline, it surely gives negative impact such as the pollution, unstable development, congestion overload, and also the cleanliness issue. Okay, now we move to the research objective for this study. So the research objective for this study to identify the student perception towards coral reef damage in Tunku Abdul Rahman Marine Park Sabah. So we have two objectives here. The first objective is to identify the level of awareness toward coral reef damages issue. And then the second objective is to identify the tourism activity that contribute to the coral reef damages. So this perception is come from our student. For the literature review, I divide it into four. The first one is the tourism, and then second is the Tunku Abdul Rahman Park as a sport water attraction, and then we move to the coral reef damages issue, and then the last one, the tourism activity that contribute to the coral reef damages. Tourism. Tourism can be defined as a particular activity selected by choice and undertaken outside the local surrounding. And usually individuals who voluntarily leave their own normal surrounding to visit another place are referred to as tourists. Tunku Abdul Rahman Park as a sport water attraction. Okay, this island or Tunku Abdul Rahman Park is located in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. And it consists of 5 islands, which are the Gaya Island, Manukan, Sapi, Suluk, and Mamutik Island, were very known for the water sport activity. Various adventure sport activity offered at this island, such as the scuba diving, snorkelling, especially at Manukan and Sapi Island. Besides that, the Sapi Island also a popular destination for the sea walking among local and international tourists. Island tour to the Tunku Abdul Rahman Park is the most popular destination for the tourists such as the China, Taiwanese, and also the Korean. The coral reef damages issue. So the coral reef ecosystem has many biological and ecological functions to the universe and many organisms for their shelter, for the food and home. According to UR 2016, the main cause of coral reef damage in outland is caused by the non-anthropogenic, it means the changing of ecological nature factor and also at the same time the human activity factor. And according to the Tourism Malaysia, the coral reef as an ecosystem is highly susceptible to changes in the surrounding environment, including the human activity, and it takes a long time for the recovery. And the finding revealed that the higher number of tourist scuba diving locations has a more serious detrimental impact on the damage and the destruction of rock and coral reef. This is according to the Hussein 2017. Tourism activity that contribute to the coral reef damages. According to Muhyiddin 2017, the diving and snorkelling activity has the potential to have direct impact against the coral reef. And a study by Minot 2019 mentioned that anthropogenic sensors include two indicators such as the physical human impact, which is measured by the amount of damages to coral reef caused by human activities such as the anchor, the tour or bomb, and potential land-based sources of pollution by considering the possibility of human activity affecting the water quality. And one study conducted in 2018 in a small island in Thailand, they discovered that when a stony coral contact with the lost fishing gear, their skeleton and soft tissue are quickly harmed. And another study in 2020 in Manabi, Ecuador, they found that the entanglement of net and fishing gear as a key driver in the process of fracturing and fragmentation of the coral. And another study in 2018, they have found out that the release of sunscreen product commonly used by the tourists to protect their skin from the harmful effect of UV radiation into seawater actually can have a negative impact on tropical coral, which causing extensive and rapid bleaching. Okay, now we move to the research methodology. We are collecting 157 respondent data. And it's a primary data. The data is collected from our recreation resort management student from Politeknik Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. And then the last one, we use a 5-point Likert scale, and the data analysis was done by using SPSS. The finding and the discussion for this study. Answering the first objective for this study regarding the respondent awareness toward coral reef damages issue among the students. Based on this pie, we can see that 33.8 and 36.3 respectively are totally agree regarding their awareness towards the coral reef damages issue. It means here most of our students are aware regarding this issue. For the second objective in this study, we try to identify which tourism activity that contribute to the coral reef damages. So in our questionnaire, we listed several tourism activity that probably can contribute to the coral reef damages. From this slide, you can see that several activities that we are listed, such as the scuba diving, the snorkeling, this sea walking, and then we also included the anthropogenic, it means here the tourism development, and fishing activity. And the last one, we also include the sunscreen that probably will contribute to the coral damages. So the output from our questionnaire, or is mean from our finding, according to the slide, fishing activity showed the highest mean, is mean here 4.4 with 0.997 standard deviation. Okay, and then the second highest mean is a tourism development activity. And then the third and fourth highest mean is a sea walking and snorkeling activity. It means here from this finding, we can see that from the respondent perception, they found out that fishing activity is the main tourism activity that contribute to the coral damages. It means here the illegal fishing activity. And then the second is tourism development itself. And then the third and fourth is the activity conducted in that area. It means here the sea walking and then the snorkeling activity. Overall, the result of this study showed that 70.1% of our respondents, okay, for our students, were aware of the coral reef destruction issue. And then the majority of the respondents were aware of the tourism activities such as scuba diving, the snorkeling, the sea walking, fishing, anthropogenic, and also the usage of the sunblock product could threaten the coral reef. In general, the student awareness toward tourism activity as a possible threat to the coral reef is shown to be at a high level of the awareness. In addition, the study found out that the illegal fishing has the most impact on coral reef destruction. So this practice not only affects the environment, but it also can threaten the entire ecosystem. Besides that, in our study, we found out that we discovered that the usage of sunscreen has the lowest mean score compared with other tourism activity, even though the mean reading still high for this usage of sunscreen. This indicates that the usage of sunscreen could threaten coral reef in the long run. Since Tunku Abdul Rahman Park is located in typically warm climate, the frequency of tourists using sunscreen is very high. And lastly, as a conclusion, this finding proved that sustainability of the coral reef play a crucial role in attracting and maintaining the arrival of tourists to the place. The more tourists come to seek for tourism sea activity, the more damages it will bring to the coral reef. Without the proper control and effort of sustainability to this kind of place attraction, this place could turn out to be the worst. The outcome of this research will educate especially our students about the importance of maintaining coral reef. This research also aims to bring awareness to the public and the tourists regarding the effect of the tourism activity towards the coral reef. The awareness at the community level is extreme efficiently as it may help to change the behavior of coral reef user in sustaining this ecosystem. The finding of this study also expected to help the government to enforce the law while monitoring the tourism development and activity that affect to the coral reef damages. And it also could be proposed to the tourism players to improve and apply the green concept for the future tourism activity. That's all from me. Thank you very much for listening.